G'day folks, my name's Steve Christensen. Welcome to this episode of the podcast. It's lovely to have you here. Look, I would encourage you to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on the podcast. Now, we've been a bit lax in extracting audio from the video and putting it onto the actual Scoop School podcast. We'll get to that in a minute, or this week, let's say. But anyway, I want to thank our episode sponsor, which is Frozen Solutions. Mitch Kleinman and the crew on the West Coast, frozensolutions.com. They are kings at color-changing spoons, cups of all sizes, logoed cups, pattern cups, paper straws. The list is endless. Go to frozensolutions.com, do yourself a favor, and look, if you have any questions, give him a call and talk to Mitch. Tell him that Steve sent you. He'd be happy to talk to you. Thank you for your episode sponsorship. Now, there's a lot of questions that we get through the email and on the comments section on our YouTube channel. So, look, if you have any questions like the one that we were asked this particular episode, jump on down below, leave a comment or a question. We'll try and get to it where we can. But the question that we get quite often is, can I put a different type of ice cream mix into a different type of machine? And what I mean by that is that generally speaking, you need to have a good understanding of the fat content of a certain mix that's designed to go into a certain machine. I'll give you an example. So a soft serve machine, whether it be a gravity-fed soft serve machine or a pump or pressurized soft serve machine, can be made by any manufacturer, is typically designed to run an ice cream mix or a frozen dessert mix that is somewhere between, let's say, the 2, 3, 4%, all the way up to around about that 10 or 12% mark. So what ends up happening is that the actual process of an ice cream or a soft serve machine scraping the evaporator or the freezing cylinder or the barrel, it's got product coming in from the top if it's gravity fed, it's got product pumped in from the bottom if it's a pressurized unit, and that mix is constantly being frozen and scraped from the side walls of the freezing cylinder. Now, the manufacturers know that for the most part, most of their customers are going to be using anywhere between a 2% mix and let's say max around about a 12% mix. Even that's really getting up there. So the question is, what happens when you take a premium ice cream mix, which is 14% fat, and put it into a soft serve machine? Well, basically, you'll create butter. Some of these machines are just so constantly churning in order to keep the product fresh, particularly a high volume machine, that what will end up happening is that the butterfat content, if it's up over 12, 13, 14%, you'll actually start to churn butter. The butter or the butterfat will separate out because it's been beaten so much within that particular barrel. And you'll find that as you're extracting out, you're going to get little yellow chunks, which are literally butter. You could take them out of the mix and put them on a sandwich and you'd be as good as gold. So the idea is that you want to talk to your manufacturer about the butterfat mix that they recommend for that particular unit. It's really important. Now, you may not see it in much or as much if you're in a high volume location. If you've got that mix just really pumping through from 10, 12 o'clock in the morning all the way through to 10 o'clock at night, you may not see so much buttering, but where the problem occurs is the constant churning of your ice cream or your soft serve mix, ice cream mix, that's actually just sitting in the barrel and not being extracted out and used for making ice cream cones, products, sundaes and so forth. So just because you think that you might have a higher butterfat mix and it would be great to be able to make a high fat soft serve mix, you really do need to speak to the manufacturer because there may be limitations as to the butterfat product that can go into the machine, and as a result, you'll be selling substandard product because your butterfat's just way too high. Anyway, that's my recommendation. Look, again, I want to thank our episode sponsor, which is Frozen Solutions, frozensolutions.com. And if you have a quandary, a concern, a question about the ice cream business, look, drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. steve@scoopschool.com, or just leave a comment down below. Look, that's it for this episode. Nice and easy, but a very important principle. Keep on scooping. We'll see you in the next episode.